Please remain standing if you are able for the playing of the national anthem of Morocco.
Favor de permanecer en pie para escuchar el himno nacional de Marruecos.
بشعار الله الوطن الملك من الرباط إلى مونتيري ومن كازا إلى مكسيكو. مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا عبر منصة دازون، أسعد الله مساكم. والنرويج والسنغال. هكذه الاجواء قبل ان ندخل في غمار المباراه. ان شاء الله اليوم الانتصار يكون مغربي. تشكيله المنتخب الهولندي، فان بروغن في حراسه المرمى. قلت الهولندا لاول مره تلعب بخمسه مدافعين لانها تعي جيدا بان المنتخب المغربي عنده الامكانات من اجل الوصول. فان هيك، فان داي واكي كثلاثي قلب دفاع، دومفريز في الجهه اليمنى، فان ديفين في الجهه اليسرى. في وسط الميدان يتواجد غرافنبرغ وديونغ، سمير بي في الجهه اليمنى، خاكبو في الجهه اليسرى، وبرايان بروبي كمهاجم صريح لاعب نادي ساندرلاند. المنتخب المغربي امامنا على الصوره. هذه الخيارات 4-3-3. دائما محمد وابي يعتمد على نفس الاسماء ويثق بنفس اللاعبين. ياسين بونو في حراسه المرمى، رباعي الدفاع اشرف حكيمي، عيسى ديوب، شادي رياض، نصير مزراوي. وسط الميدان عز الدين وناحي، نايل العناوي، ايوب بوعدي، وفي الهجوم بلال الخنوس، اسماعيل السباري، ابراهيم دياز. ان شاء الله الانطلاقه تكون لصالح المنتخب المغربي في هذه المباراه، وان شاء الله نربحوا هذه المواجهه، ونتمنوا انه المنتخب المغربي يقدم مباراه تاريخيه موحى. اش بان لك في هذا الماتش؟ كيفاش بامكان المنتخب المغربي انه يبدا هذه المباراه؟ واش خاصو يعمل البريسينغ والضغط مع البدايه؟
سلام نور الدين، كيراك كلشي لاباس؟
الحمد لله موحى
صافا. غادي نشوفوا التخيل الاولين، غادي نشوفوا كيفاش المغرب بغات تخرج هذا الماتش. علاش لولاند يمكن هذه تخرج باش يلعبوا من اللور، وحنا الى لا مينتاليتي ديالنا نمشيو الفوق بحال كنا ودرنا مع برازيل، غادي نديروا شي ماتش مزيان الحمد لله.
ان شاء الله نتمنى المنتخب المغربي يدخل بشكل جيد في المواجهه ويكون هو السباق للتسجيل. هذا هو رونالد كومان، 63 عام، الرجل الذي يقود المنتخب الهولندي في ثاني تجربه بعد 2018 2020، يقوده منذ عام 2023. رونالد كومان اسم معروف، قاد برشلونه، اياكس، بيسفي وبنفيكا والعديد من الفرق الاوروبيه العتيده. هذا هو اكي امامنا على الصوره لفان دايك. اليوم المنتخب الهولندي يلعب بثلاث قلوب دفاع، ثلاثه في الدفاع، فان هيك، فان دايك واكي، واكيد سيعتمد على صعود دامفريز في الجهه اليمنى وفان ديفين في الجهه اليسرى. وراه هولنديه عن طريق غرافنبرغ، يتقدم غرافنبرغ، يحضر كره في اتجاه فان دايك. المنتخب المغربي واقف كما يجب، ولكن يجب استغلال المرتدات لكونتر اتاك بسرعه، وكذلك يجب يعني ان تكون المسانده الدفاعيه حاضره من جانب اشرف حكيمي ونصير مزراوي. اليوم اشرف حكيمي سيكون في مواجهه اللاعب فان ديفين، ودامفريز سيكون في مواجهه نصير مزراوي. وركة توصل في وسط الميدان لصالح المنتخب الهولندي. فان دايك في الجهه اليسرى لاكي. اكي المنتخب الهولندي كيحاول يخرج بالكره، لكن التغطيه الممتازه من جانب عيسى ديوب او هذا الشادي رياض، والكره كتحول رميه تماس لصالح المنتخب الهولندي. اكيد المواجهه لن تكون سهله، ولكننا واثقون من قدره المنتخب المغربي بمسانده انصاري وعشاقي هنا في المدرجات. ركنيه لصالح المنتخب الهولندي في الدقيقه الثالثه، لصالح المنتخب الهولندي شادي رياض، عيسى ديوب والاسماء الاخرى في التغطيه من امام مهاجمي المنتخب الهولندي. ركنيه في الجهه اليسرى ان شاء الله تمر سليمه على شباك الحارس ياسين بونو. اليوم هي مباراه المدافعين، مباراه الحراس، مباراه المهاجمين كذلك، مواجهه يعني ما بين فريقين يعتبران من بين الافضل في العالم. كره تدخل من طرف الدفاع ممتاز جدا، التغطيه من جانب اسماعيل السباري، كتوصل الكره للدفاع عن طريق اللاعب غرافنبرغ، لكن كتحول رميه تماس لصالح المنتخب الهولندي. الاصوات المغربيه اليوم، الجمهور المغربي حاضر بقوه موحى، الجماهير المغربيه حاضره في المدرجات.
رانا فرحانين كل شيء، علاش شفنا المغرب كان غادي نزيدوا.
He's trying to drop right on top of the goalkeeper, well dealt with by the Moroccan defense. Playing against one another, these two countries 32 years ago today. Ronald Koeman was actually captaining the Dutch in Orlando that day. The Netherlands winning 2-1. They went through to the knockout stage. Morocco were eliminated that night. They've not played in any of the last 9 years. They played a friendly in 2017. Only a couple guys on this field were on that field. But plenty of club teammates, plenty of club opponents, and a hard collision there. Mickey van de Ven might have actually gotten the worst of it.
But this is something we've seen quite a bit throughout this tournament, which is this Netherlands team, which are known for possession and free-flowing football and moving the ball, playing pretty direct at times, as Elanawi ends up just smashing into the leg. Actually, Van de Ven's pretty lucky he's able to get his foot off the ground at the last minute. So they're not opposed to going direct and going over the top of the ball. over that midfield, bypassing the pressure and then playing on the second ball.
Looking long, Achraf Hakimi is going to get.
Is it about fear? Is it about tactical advantage?
Hit that one.
So even if you want to have an extra defender out there, still his movement and his cues. Brahim Diaz, the right winger, he comes in.
The question I was about to ask you, Brian.
Sorry, and that allows Hakimi, because they have the defensive structure, to make these runs. So we call him a right back. He's really not. He's a right winger that'll get back and defend, but he leads the team with 10 chances created. So their strength is down that right, really. And something for the Netherlands to be aware of is still getting pressure on the ball and not allowing the Moroccan players to get time to pick their head up to play that ball in behind, because he is so dangerous.
Brahim Diaz put that behind Unahi. Good work by Frenkie de Jong to come get it. Verbruggen very busy in the group stage. Hecka will go long. Broby just backing the defenders into one another. That was good work by Issa Diop, who's just recently debuted for Morocco, to come across and get that clear. It's out for a Netherlands throw.
And Broby's only 5'11", and I say that because typically when you try to play direct like this, it's a bigger striker, back to goal, holds the ball up. He uses his body really well. He's strong, low center of gravity. They're looking for him again here.
They picked up by Gravenberg. First shot of the game was blocked. Riyad got his foot in the way. And now he stepped in, but it's given right back. Somerville just runs right into Mazraoui. Now Saibari, and Van Hecke threw an extra little shoulder into him there. Saibari is down behind the play. The Dutch carry forward. Denzel Dumfries. That's two Moroccan defenders crunch him with a tackle. It's a very chewed up part of the field down there. It's one right back, and that one's going to be a foul. And Wilton Sampaio, he knew what he was getting into with this game.
I'm chuckling a little bit, but it's more out of just enjoyment. You see guys at this level competing now and understanding what is at stake, the intensity from both sides, challenges being left in, bodies leaving the ground, making tackles, neither team wanting to give an inch. And that's why when we were talking at the very beginning about previewing this game and what could be the difference at a game when you have so many high-level players, two tactical systems that are well drilled, it can come down to moments of brilliance where sometimes you see mistakes and somebody just switching off for a second. So early in the game, both teams still kind of feeling each other out a little bit.
Johnny Riyad, the center back, came across to change his shirt, and so he's got to wait to be allowed, and he is now being allowed on the field. Van Hecke there, and Saibari, and again those two are squaring up nose to nose. They're exchanging shoves behind the play out of the frame of the picture that you're seeing at home. Dutch bench were all leaping up to yell and scream about it.
Yeah, and Van Hecke didn't like that. Saibari was he was actually falling backwards, trying to make a play of it. He said, look, you kicked me in the head. He made an honest play at the ball, both players. But something to watch for. Saibari, he floats between all the center backs. He never really stays as a central striker. He's scored in each game so far for Morocco, coming off a monster season in the Netherlands and now on his way to Bayern Munich.
Saibari, in fact, the first African player in World Cup history to score in all three games of a group stage. And as you mentioned, he represents one of the things that does give this game an edge. There is a sizable Moroccan community in the Netherlands. There's 3 members of the Moroccan squad who were born and raised in the Netherlands, played for Dutch youth national teams. Players like Saibari have been playing in the Dutch league. And Rafael van der Vaart, the former Netherlands international, stoked the flame a bit obviously before knowing that these two nations would face off against one another, but he said on Dutch television in March, it's the players who are not good enough to play for the Netherlands that then choose to go and play for Morocco. And so even the police in the Netherlands have urged a bit of calm with some of the emotions in this game and whatever happens after. Mazraoui is one of those players born and raised in the Netherlands, the left back for Morocco. Diaz immediately forced backwards there. Now he's got Saibari making a run. He snuck in between those three center backs. He brings it down. Saibari cut off and then commits a foul. There's Denzel Dumfries there doing the defensive running.
Very patient play from Morocco, though, using the ball, not trying to force it. Very compact lines from the Netherlands. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, and for this one, as so many came, really just such an anticipated match. But what a run from Saibari, talking about the type of movement that he has. Actually, I watched that play where Van Hecke followed him all the way out to the right wing. I don't know if he's been tasked with to try to stay with him as much as he can, but that's hard without compromising your structure a little bit, as Verbruggen underplays that one.
And another whistle as Broby goes down, and he's down in pain. Milton Sampaio is just going to try to keep control of this early.
It might be a game where you've got to use your cards early because of the physicality that we're seeing so far from both of these teams. Joke just kind of saying, look, he actually kicked the back of my leg. I think he's right.
It's the Mexican fans in anticipation of their game with Morocco tomorrow making some noise. And the yellow cards have been wiped out at the end of the group stage, so no one shown just a yellow tonight would be suspended for the next round. Ake clipping it long. Broby trying to pin Riyad, who's able to just hold him off. And now Broby is limping at the end of the play as it bounced through to Yassine Bono. Chance to run the other way. Brahim Diaz has Hakimi furthest forward. He clips it over the top. Virgil van Dijk will slide across. And deals with it.
Yeah, Van Dijk saw that pass about 10 minutes ago. He was, he was already making the run across, although a little bit of pressure here from Morocco. But expect the game to be like this, where whichever team has possession, being a little bit more patient and then picking their moments to go. Both teams are going to have
late dynamic runs popping up this right-hand side.
Cross. Deals with it. Bellotti, the 18-year-old who you were so impressed with when we saw Morocco's opener against Brazil, helping to settle this ball.
Yeah, plays in France, and I don't know how much longer he will be at Lille. He's lit this tournament on fire. He was rested in the last match against Haiti for this Moroccan team, but just his composure on the ball, his tempo, everything, so impressive for an 18-year-old.
That was one of the things Mohamed Wabi talked about yesterday, was how pleased he was to be able to rest some bodies and manage some minutes in that group stage finale in Atlanta. Nothing else making the run, but wasn't timed right by Riyad. Well, Verbruggen, FIFA credited him with 10 saves in total. As you get a sense, it's a bit hazy this evening, but a beautiful evening. Either 10 or 11 saves for Verbruggen in the group stage. That's as many as any goalkeeper on a team that actually got out of the group into the knockout stage. And Milton Sampaio, I think that was Saibari there, a little too early, trying to chase down the short goal kick. Goes long, and another foul's been whistled there against Broby as he was trying to pin Shadi Riyad. And you see again where the referee is just trying to keep control of this and set a tone early.
He's got an eye on Broby in that matchup with Riyad as well at the back, because as we said, Broby is strong. He likes to pin defenders. He likes to create an advantage. As just a turnover there, miscommunication in the back for Morocco. A little sloppy on both sides, but I think some of that comes down to the intensity and the physicality Neither team really wanting to give up anything in the early stages of this match.
You see there, Johnny Riyad already changed his shirt once, and now he's got a rip down the side of the second one. That away as Saibari was trying to pick his space to operate in now. Had Gakpo wide, elected to keep it. And the ability, as we experienced in the World Cup semifinal 4 years ago, of the Moroccan supporters to maintain that shrill whistle when the other team has the ball is one of the great physical feats. And now it's the Mexican supporters that are adding into the boos. There's really only a handful of pockets of fans wearing orange. It's a very different looking stadium because these were all tickets that were bought really in the last couple days since the matchup was set. They're trying to reverse it, going to clip it long. Somerville and Chase. Somerville's going to get there. Somerville in the box, into the middle for Broby. That might have been offside, and it is. And so it's not going to be a corner for the Netherlands.
But here's what the long, prolonged possession can do. It can almost lull you from a Moroccan perspective into a little sense of overcomfort. That would have been close. It does look like he was just leaning offside. I almost also think that Somerville could have been more selfish here and just gone by himself. The ball's bouncing up by his knees. He's trying to square it across to Broby. Doesn't quite get to him. And then it was cleared away. That would have been close as well. I do think Broby was just behind the ball as it was played, and he would have been offside. But that was the first one that was deemed offside. But that was good because Gravenberg was able to get the ball in the midfield, get turned, and play that pass around the corner. Just to give you some context how little the Dutch midfield have had the ball. Before that sequence there, Frenkie de Jong had only touched the ball 5 times. Gravenberg was on 3. So they're bypassing the midfield right now. So I wonder if they could just settle the game down and have some possession like this.
And meanwhile, Johnny Riyad is on his 3rd jersey of the game, and he's still in a wrestling match with Broby, who was the intended recipient of that pass. It was Issa Diop who knocked it away. So the question is, how many more number 18 shirts does Morocco's equipment team have? Will lift that up, and Broby went down, and he's down in some pain. And slowly, gingerly up to his feet. That is quite the wrestling match that he is having tonight with Johnny Riyad.
Yeah, no surprise, 2 players that play in the Premier League. Used to some physical, fast, intensive play.
Who comes in with 3 goals scored, scoring in both prior games when he was inserted into the starting lineup after coming off the bench in the opener. All the way out to the right. Hakimi now directing traffic, trying to return. And who did that come off last there down in the corner? And that'll be a goal kick. Or if they change the decision, no, it is going to be a corner, in fact, for Morocco. After consultation between the assistant referee and the ref. And this is where the Dutch have struggled a little bit. 2 goals allowed from set pieces, a third that was narrowly ruled out, tied for the most of any team that made the knockout stage. First corner for Morocco into the near post. It's a great save by Verbruggen. Ball still in play. Well, now he's going to reset. Guadi there, blasts it over. We said Bart Verbruggen had a very busy tournament so far. That was a great stop there.
Had to be alert at the near post. It's a great header. Just trying to flick it into the back post, and that's really difficult. Just reacting from that close to make sure you get 2 hands on it. And you can see, just ends up getting the fingertips on it from El Anawi. And then even bypasses Brahim Diaz at the back post. First real chance of the game for Morocco, and it comes on a set piece.
And here they come for more. El Canals running forward. Into the middle for Brahim Diaz. Got knocked down. We play on. Saibari comes to get it. Hakimi! Verbruggen, acrobatic save again. Another Moroccan corner.
And the Moroccan fans coming to life. Comes off a bit of a turnover middle of the field, and then here come Morocco again. Great work from Brahim Diaz initially to just get back up. He was looking for a foul top of the box. Hakimi hits it first time. He got his first World Cup goal in the last match. He's looking for more.
Once again, corner dealt with by Frankie de Jong at the near post.
The pendulum swings again, and it looked like the Netherlands were really on top. They have the close opportunity. Now here come Morocco.
Saibari slipped in between defenders here to pick that up. Nahi, El Anawi. Hakimi couldn't hold that up. De Jong trying to escape. Roby is in an outlet there. Hakimi trying to get himself back onside. He did. And now he's able to turn. El Canals will hook that in. It's just too tall for Saibari.
He's so dangerous with that run. Yeah, he starts on your non-goal side shoulder and really tries to run inside and time his runs. And the Netherlands had rotated a number of players out to deal with that right side for Morocco. This was a look at that strike. Great hit from Hakimi, but Verbruggen up to the task again.
Who would have thought this 5 minutes ago that the hydration break comes at a good time for the Netherlands, because Morocco are knocking on the door here in Monterrey in this great finale of our Monday night in the round of 32 at the FIFA World Cup. No score so far between the local club teams. And it's been wonderful for us, brief as this trip will be, to get the opportunity to be here and experience it. And certainly creating it. It's not a big stadium. One of the smallest, in fact, at this tournament. It's over 50,000. The big, steep stands, and everything is held in by the roof. And so how do these teams now come out of the break? Can the Dutch get some control? Can Morocco keep knocking on the door? These are both teams with very strong histories of success when they score first, even as we remind you that Morocco trailed twice against Haiti the other day in Atlanta. Remember, the Dutch led twice against Japan in their opener, ended up in a 2-2 draw. He comes to get it. It's inside now. Elkhouse nowhere to go immediately. Rawi. Frankie de Jong was not going to be nutmegged there. Somerville, good strength on the outside to at least get it partially clear. Riyad sends it back the other way. Van Hecke just decked as he heads that away. And Jan-Paul Van Hecke already once in this tournament has suffered a black eye in a collision. And now what does Wilton Sampaio choose to do about this?
Now, these ones are difficult sometimes when the ball takes this. It's a high looping ball and it bounces up. Van Hecke had the advantage. He's attacking the ball. Koeman, he's not happy with Unahi, who came into this challenge late. He wasn't going to get it. You can see now he turns and then it ends up being the back of his shoulder that clashes into him. I think based on the way this game has gone early, especially there, it actually ends up not being his back. It was at the backside of his elbow. But he doesn't swing the elbow. I still think that is something that you could have seen a yellow card for if you were trying to just calm this game down a touch.
Mark Clattenburg watching with us as well. Mark, give us your thoughts as this starts to boil up a little bit.
Yeah, at some point he's going to have to issue this yellow card. That was an arm in the face, and that should have resulted in a yellow card. He's already tried the quiet word. He's tried to get the captains involved. He's tried to speak to the players, and at some point he's going to have to take ownership and give yellow cards because he has to protect the players.
Feels like next foul, whoever it is in whatever circumstance.
For sure. You'd hope.
Somerville there, an errant pass, splitting inside. Great step to take it away, although well recovered by Hakimi. Van de Ven thought he was off and running. Unahi able to keep it. Elkhouse just able to keep it away from Somerville. Unahi nutmegs the pass through. Elkhouse, early cross, backside. Hakimi was there, just not there enough.
It's difficult to play through the defensive lines of the Netherlands. You can see how compact they are, but when Dumfries steps out like this, and then you had cover, so Van Hecke didn't feel like he needed to come out, so that left the space there, and it's a terrific ball across. Look at that, just clipped at a great height. Can't quite pick out Saibari, and then that would have been Hakimi at the back post, who was arriving a step late. Morocco really have grown into this game a lot.
Gakpo. That's really terrific work by Cody Gakpo. He was 1v4 in there, and he's able to keep the ball in a moment where the Dutch need to get some control back. Frankie de Jong is fouled.
And I was going to say, you know how you get control of the game back, is you get the ball. You have to have some of those spells of possession and force Morocco to defend a little bit and just slow the game down a touch, because I think at that intensity, the way Morocco are combining and moving, they can really pull apart this Netherlands defense.
Gakpo. Away by Hakimi. Cody Gakpo playing with a heavy heart right now. Perhaps you saw the media reports, his partner announcing the loss of their unborn son who was due in October. Would have been their second child together. He's playing on now through those emotions at this tournament.
It's interesting now, you've got Van de Ven who's come inside into the pocket to allow then Gakpo to be out wide on the left, trying to look for an opportunity to get Gakpo 1v1 and use his best abilities, which is running at defenders with speed.
We are 2 days away, Wednesday night, Santa Clara, United States, Bosnia-Herzegovina in the round of 32 at this FIFA World Cup. Coverage Wednesday starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, live on Fox. We will be on scene early tomorrow morning, meeting with Mauricio Pochettino and players ahead of this massive opportunity for the men of the United States. A highly motivated opponent making history in their first ever knockout stage game in a World Cup. An exciting day coming up Wednesday in the South Bay area. Ismail Saibari keeps it in play all by himself right now. Saibari's going to run it in, meets an orange wall.
Yeah, it wasn't the right decision at the end, but his movement is causing a ton of problems for this Dutch defense, because just even in that sequence, I'm watching Van Dijk and Van Hekken. They're getting crossed and they're running past each other. Saibari starts centrally, then he goes wide. Dumfries is further up the field. So his dynamic movement is a real problem right now. And it was one of my questions about this Dutch defense. I had to go back to March of 2024 to find when Ronald Koeman started with a back five. They play 4-3-3. That is their system. That's what they're comfortable in. And so I think they've adjusted to an opponent, but maybe just trying to also keep this game tight through 45, 60 minutes. And then you heard Zlatan talking about the deep bench that the Dutch have. So maybe that's their approach in this game. I just don't think they're quite as dynamic as they need to be in the final third.
Is that difficult, particularly to change a formation like that?
At times, but these players are all so high-level intellectual players that play in different systems. So it's not that it's difficult for them to rotate into that, but to go from one game to another, and then you're playing against a team in Morocco that's often shifting and moving players. Sometimes you can just make a mistake or you're slow to rotate. I think that's what we've seen a couple of times.
Back for Gravenberg. Liverpool teammates, those two. There's nowhere to go forward, though. Okay, here's Van de Ven. Van Hekken. The Dutch just kind of slowly compressing this closer to Morocco's goal. Van Hekken trying to loop that in for Dumfries. He has. It's knocked down awkwardly. The flag comes up, and the whistle will indeed go for the offside there. Referee thought about letting it go for advantage. Well, Koeman said yesterday, I don't think that we're the favorite in this game. This will be a big game. These are two good teams. Hakimi forced one of those two great saves just before the hydration break out of Bart Verbruggen. Nothing else not on the same page there with Saibari. Dropping in deep to try to get involved and see if they can free something up. Van Dijk over the top. Dumfries brings it down. Somerville's inside of him. Somerville has it now. A little bit of a tangle from behind. The Moroccans scramble it away. Oh, Canal's lovely ball to get it away. Young throws a body in. Van Dijk comes to get it. Dumfries now. Somerville's got to get out of his way. In for Gakpo. Well read on Achraf Hakimi.
You're right. He's able to read that play because Morocco tried to play out of the pressure, thought they played out of the pressure, and then the ball turned over. As we're just holding play here for a second.
Sampaio, the referee. Nicolas Gallo of Colombia, the video assistant referee, based at the Central VAR hub in Dallas. Just wanted an extra moment, perhaps, to take a look at that last sequence. Zayu Boadi perhaps involved in something here. Let's have a look.
Are they trying to say it grazed his arm there? I would hate if that was given as a penalty. Okay, play, check complete. My goodness.
That probably would have been unfortunate.
Yeah.
Had that been given as a penalty. From a neutral perspective. And the Dutch, as you see, 3 times they've played and lost in a World Cup final. Their last 3 tournaments, they've gotten to at least the quarterfinal. They had that miraculous 2-goal comeback against Argentina. Ended up losing in a penalty shootout in Qatar. Morocco history making in Qatar, making the semifinal. That's meant for Gakpo. It's away by Hakimi. Not dealt with. Robbie came back to take it away. De Jong, Dumfries, knocked away by Mazraoui. And that will go in behind for a Dutch corner.
Just a little careless in possession there from Boadi. The ball bounced away from him, led to a turnover and another set piece, which we have talked about. The danger. This will be, I would imagine, an outswinging ball towards that penalty spot. Looking, as always, for Van Dijk, but they've also got Van de Ven, they've got Van Hecke. Players that have goals in them and a lot of height and a lot of physicality. You can see the height advantage even just there.
Asensio Somerville to take. Deep to the back post. That's a deflected header. It should be out for another corner. It is. He's got the initial touch. I mentioned how good the Netherlands have been, scoring 3 goals from set pieces in the group stage. Morocco only allowed 3 goals in total, none of them from dead ball situations. Somerville right in the middle. That was Van Dijk, and he kind of ducked out of the way of it. Man down in the box for the Netherlands right now. Looks like Van Hecke.
Man, Van Hecke's taking a beating in this game. He's staying up right now, and no, he's actually signaling.
I think he's signaling that he needs oh, look at all the blood. Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
And the medical staff will rush out to take a look at Jan-Paul Van Hecke. Van Nistelrooy, assistant coach, legendary player, discussing with Ronald Koeman right now. He took that hard knock from the elbow earlier. We mentioned he already had a black eye once in the group stage. Coming off his first career goal for the Netherlands against Tunisia in their group stage finale.
Oh, yeah. He ends up catching the cleat there of Mazraoui on the way down. Completely accidental. He knew nothing about that. Mazraoui was jumping to try to win the header, and on his way down, his cleat raked on the head of Van Hecke, who had lost his footing in the box.
Mr. Mazraoui, as we mentioned, born in the Netherlands, as a Dutch youth international. And in fact, as the story goes, Mazraoui, he was in the youth academy at Ajax, and they were getting close to cutting him because as a teenager he was just getting physically dominated by the other players in his age group. And it was one of the members of the academy staff that said, listen, he's got a November birthday, he's just not physically as developed. What if you put him with the younger group for a week, see what happens? And miraculously it was as if he was a different player. And it's a reminder, and there's so many of them, that players at the World Cup who at a young age are told you're not big enough, you're not strong enough, you're not fast enough to make it. And in fact, no, it just means you're developing a bit slower than some of your peers. Moroccan staff now taking a look at things. The players have been ushered away from the benches to not be able to use this as another tactical timeout, as Jan-Paul Van Hecke was playing at his first World Cup at the age of 26, continues to be patched up. he walks off, a chance to remind you tomorrow here on Fox, more action for the round of 32. The Ivory Coast taking on Erling Haaland in Norway and Dallas for the right to face Brazil in the next round. Coverage starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. France, Sweden, and New Jersey. Winner of that game goes to Philadelphia the 4th of July to play Paraguay. Upset winners over Germany in a penalty shootout earlier. And the nightcap in Mexico City, Mexico, Ecuador. A potential meeting with England at Estadio Azteca in the next round. So Van Hecke is still getting patched up on the side. The Dutch are playing with 10. Roby wins the initial header. Gakpo brings it down. Brahim Diaz couldn't find Saibari. It's going to be a foul against Gakpo, trying to knock Boadi off the ball. Coming up, the Bank of America halftime show here on Fox. Rebecca and crew in Los Angeles with their thoughts on what we've seen. A look back at what has already been a wild day. Brazil had to come from behind. Paraguay's upset of Germany. We thought this round of 32 was going to be carnage, and it has so far been. We got a few more days to go. Stoppage time win for Canada in LA yesterday. They await the winner of this game. Mika is back out there. With a nice little memento of the cleats that he took to the top of the head a moment ago. What are you looking for here? I was going to say 5 minutes. It's probably more like 10 minutes to go in the half.
But this game has become a game in the middle of the field here. You get a look at the Netherlands, just how compact and tight their lines are. It's probably only 25 yards between Broby and then Van Dijk. They're not allowing Morocco to get in those pockets and get turned. I think Morocco have had success, though, when they can find Brahim Diaz. They can get Hakimi overlapping on the right. They can get El Khanous on this left-hand side. I thought that Morocco really grew into the game coming out of the break and even going into the hydration break. But then the Netherlands have settled the game down a touch. I do just think this is going to be a game that you'll really see a big change to it in the second half. It's going to be subs. It's going to be changes of tactics. It's going to be who can withstand this level of intensity and fatigue and not make mistakes. It's just such a tight game. Nobody's wanting to give up anything. That's a nice looking ball. It just skipped away.
Not fully dealt with on the clearance. Mazraoui had to help as Riyad just sliced it in the air. De Jong throws his body in. Dumfries brings it down. He was trying to cross. Mazraoui with the clearance there. Somehow over his shoulder. Saibari takes a shove. He and Van Hecke continue to battle. The Dutch still on the ball. Big tackle there by the teenager Boadi. Only stopped the attack for a moment as that shot is tipped over by Bono. Mickey Van de Ven.
He's barely had a touch to this point of the game. And Van de Ven up, gets a great strike on this, just cuts underneath it, heading on target and perhaps underneath that crossbar. But Bono has to make the save. He gets the fingertips on it as Morocco had over-rotated. The ball just popped out to him, top of the box. Somerville pokes it to him. Great looking strike from Mickey Van de Ven.
First save of the game, Yassine Bono. Netherlands with their fourth corner. And Bono's a big guy, 6'5", but so is Virgil van Dijk. We've seen how physical Broby is, and it's just kind of a mess in there right now. Here it comes, right on top of the goalkeeper. It's popped in the air, and there's going to be a whistle and a foul. There was probably no scenario where that was not going to be whistled for a foul at some point in there.
Yeah, he's jumping with him, but it's when you make contact to the goalkeeper like that that you're going to see that foul called every time.
mean, we saw that take away a goal for Germany in the game earlier today. Frustrated looking Ronald Koeman right now on the Dutch bench. Strong hitter by Virgil van Dijk. Robbie trying to throw his body in there. Job hits it away. Somerville, as we will play 6 added minutes here at the end of this first half. How does this match up with what you would have expected?
About right on. I think the Netherlands could be a little bit more adventurous in some of their attacking play, but I think the part of the strategy is just to keep this game tight and close in the beginning and then do that in the second half. They just don't want to give anything away defensively. Morocco have maintained their typical defensive shape, 4-4-2. Tried to use Hakimi down the right when they can. They're not opening themselves up. They're not overcommitting, not stepping out of the spaces. They're a very organized, tactical unit as well. So no goals, and we've had chances come a little bit, but 3 attempts for either team. That was the first save of the match for Bono. Verbruggen had to make a couple of saves in quick successions. But I wouldn't say we've seen consistently a team hit that next gear that we know they have.
The sun has fully set behind us to the west. The temperature is dropping. Very comfortable evening now, even in the normal heat and humidity here in Monterrey. So it should set up for a fantastic second half, and maybe more, with the potential of extra time and penalties to come. Yet what do we see just before the hydration break? That Morocco all of a sudden created some possession,
with the back foot and then a little chip over the foot of Van Hecke. Just terrific skill from Saibari. But Van Dijk converging on that near post. He didn't really have any options, I think, because Morocco weren't expecting him to break through the way he did, but it's led to this corner.
Hakimi drives it near post. It's kicked away on the goal line by Verbruggen.
Yeah, he's shooting this. He's trying to score. The way he hits this with the type of pace, but nobody blocks it at the near post. It's going to be another corner. They're just holding that. They're going to double check this. It was hard to see even if it took a deflection on the way through. I think it did from a white shirt, but Verbruggen with a big-time save again at that near post where they're trying to hit it. But I think he was shooting that one.
The Dutch weren't ready for that short corner. Got kind of bailed out there for the stoppage again. To the near post. That time it's blocked by the bodies. Was it last off Dumfries last? Out for another corner.
Same thing again. Hakimi just trying to create some chaos in there. And Dumfries that time getting his body across the near post.
Does he go for a third time, Hakimi? He sure does. Won't do it again. That time he apologizes if it didn't have enough on it.
Just padding the corner stats here.
Some have suggested over the years that would be a tiebreaker in the case of a tied game. Who had more corners? Hakimi and try to go back post. That was just too far. He'll apologize and he'll be booed. Hakimi, as we mentioned, 100th appearance, and I mean,
oh my goodness,
that close to an Olympico.
Dumfries, so he's at that near post, and he's a little bit deep, and it hits his right cleat into the left thigh of Verbruggen, inches away from the opening goal.
4 saves for Verbruggen tonight. Achraf Hakimi also his 14th career World Cup game played, most of any African player in history. Hakimi knocks that one out for a throw. Mohamed Wabi, who a few months ago wasn't even thinking about this job. He was coaching the under-20s as they won the World Cup in the fall. He was put in charge of the U23s, and in the fallout from the Africa Cup of Nations, all of a sudden Wabi was in charge of this team. And he's matching wits with Ronald Koeman trying to figure out a solution. Somerville's going to step in between the defenders. Tangle of arms there. Riyad comes away with it, tackles it away. It was Mazraoui there who crashed on the backside to help defend. Cody Gakpo all the way out to the right. Shouldered off it. Good recovery there by El Kanaus.
Wilton Sampaio already saying no. He felt like he got a good look at that as Somerville makes something out of nothing. And I thought Mazraoui's going to take him down here, but he actually does a good job of not making enough contact to pull Somerville down. I think he loses his footing first, and then even then Mazraoui makes a play on that with his head, because that is the difference between then denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, a red card, and the game completely changes.
Remember, Wilton Sampaio, as referee of the opening game of the tournament, gave 3 red cards, 2 of them for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So he's not a referee shy to make that big call. Verbruggen turned into where Saibari was coming from, but he's able to angle it out for Van Hecke. Alvin Barrett, lovely turn inside and draws contact. Johnny Reinders and the available substitutes for the Dutch looking on. Who's going to get their number called out, get their opportunity to try to change this game, get the Dutch to Houston.
Well, Luabi's proven that he's got goal.
20 minutes played in the second half, an increasingly cool and comfortable evening here in Monterrey. And a reminder, James Corden and the After Hours crew on Fox tonight. Another nightly wrap-up of the day's World Cup action, and what action it has been today. That'll be on Fox at midnight local time. Brazil coming from behind to win in stoppage time. The Germans are out before the last 16 of a World Cup for the third straight tournament. Makes that U.S. win over Paraguay look a little bit better, doesn't it, too? First, but just to amplify.
All that matters now is Wednesday.
Yes.
That's the big one.
And that same day, Belgium and Senegal will face off in Seattle. Winners of that game, winners of the U.S. Bosnia-Herzegovina game, will play in Seattle on the 6th of July. The U.S. players all said that was the most incredible atmosphere they ever played in front of in Seattle the other week. They're desperate to get back a second time.
Patterns. The game against Sweden was done and dusted.
In Santa Clara. We're probably looking at the second half hydration break at the next stoppage of play.
Well, since halftime, Morocco have had 79% of the ball. So it speaks a lot just to how much the Netherlands are sitting deep, how little they are doing with the ball, how little they've been able to keep the ball, how ineffective they have been in those moments. They're just hoping for something to break, but that speaks to it. I think we're going to go into the break. I think they've got to make some subs pretty soon here.
And a handful of boos ringing around the stadium here in Monterrey, Mexico. One final act to go. So the changes will come now for the Netherlands. Again, Canada waits the winner on the 4th of July in Houston. Roby and Ake are the two players over there to make way.
So you are taking off a defender, putting on a midfielder. So that feels like that will signal a switch potentially in their system, but let's see. And Weghorst is going to go up front. That gives them a more direct target option, a guy that is going to play physically up front, but they will look to play on knockdowns and second balls.
Holt Miners at his second World Cup as well. He was another player that came off the bench in the quarterfinal against Argentina, helped change things. They didn't advance, but they made a game of it. Look at Saibari, and they run the other way. Van Hecke still bloodied up on the side of his face. He's had a rough night tonight. Weghorst first touch, trying to flick it along. Somerville's got to step inside Mazraoui. Somerville, tangle of legs, goes down and falls to Gakpo, scores! Cody Gakpo, first to react to the loose ball. The emotions overwhelm him as he gives the Dutch the lead.
And you can feel the heavy weight of emotion that is running through Cody Gakpo right now. All of his teammates coming together for a man that has been through so much in the last 48 hours, but has put his country ahead, and instant dividends off the changes for Ronald Koeman. 2 tactical subs, brings in Weghorst, 6'6", route 1, right up the gut, flicks it on, draws in Riyad, the center back. It leaves the space then for Somerville to run in behind on. He gets taken down, but it's Gakpo who follows up the play. 2 players drawn to 1. Would that have been a foul or not? It doesn't matter, because Gakpo then just has the composure. The ball is bouncing up for him. He stays on top of it, puts it in the back of the net. In a game in which the Dutch have been outplayed for large stretches of it, but they don't care because they have the lead.
When you think about what he and his partner and their family have been through, it's just a goal, it's just a game, but it is a marvelous moment for him. And you see, as you said, the way his teammates support him in that moment, the emotions overflowing. 20 minutes to go, the Netherlands in front. His 3rd goal of this tournament. He scored 3 times in the last World Cup. Cody Gakpo is 1 away from the Netherlands' all-time record in World Cup goal scoring.
There's always the danger, though, for Morocco. If you don't put away these chances, you let this Dutch team hang around, they will find a way. And Koop Meiners, who has actually played a little bit of center back, is predominantly a defensive midfielder. He's a little bit better on the ball in that position, but he's actually slotted back into the defensive center back type of position. So they are going to stick with almost a 5-4-1. They've just freshened it up a little bit.
Salah Eddin, another player born and raised in the Netherlands, played for Dutch youth national teams before switching to play for Morocco, is preparing to enter. It's a Morocco team, different circumstance, but still came from behind twice, ended up beating Haiti in Atlanta. That was the first time in their history they had won a World Cup game in which they conceded the opening goal. Frenkie de Jong commits that foul. They'll make the change now. Shadi Riyad, who is on his 4th jersey of the night, will be the player taken off. Looks like Mazraoui might just slide in, as that's taken quickly before the Dutch were entirely ready. It's out to Brahim Diaz. Weghorst defending him. About a 1.5 difference between those two.
Well, what a tale of 2 halves.
I mean, you said don't let the Dutch hang around. They'll find their
They
moment.
have experienced players, high-level players. And they just seemed, as much as the game was against them, they were content in defending and playing that this was their game plan. So now for Mohamed Wabi and his team, look, this is his biggest game of his coaching career. First full international job, first time as a senior head coach. Can you find solutions? Can these players find solutions?
As you see, it has been a very, very long time since the Dutch lost a World Cup game in which they scored first, but they don't have to lose. A draw would take us to extra time and potential.
Boadi takes a quick look up.
Foot Miners getting a
Great awareness for both sets of center backs.
Morocco, only so much time left to
That your center back partnership, either on the left hand.
Meg on the outside. Comes the inside to Brahim Diaz. It was wonderful work there by
Night.
Dangerous tackle there. Boadi able to keep it. Pokes it in. Too tall for Brahim Diaz. Vanhecke, though, sends it in behind for a corner. Zadina Nahi sets to take it.
Seeing the 20-year-old.
The outswinger to the near post takes a flick backside, headed further away. Saladin just on the field, got a lot behind that, but only found Mickey van de Ven. More changes in the wings for
As Dumfries again covering the back shoulder.
El Canals. It's a great looking ball. It's all the way through. Saibari was in a tangle. Fans are going to howl. It's a throw in for the Netherlands. The call on the field. And Dumfries a bit shaken up at the end of it.
Great looking ball. The height of that and the pace of it is so difficult to defend. I think Dumfries.
Brahim Diaz. On comes Kassim Yass.
Got a hold of each other. Good to see that from the other angle. That's a difficult one for Dumfries to defend there.
And
Saibari.
Those are such tough calls because forwards, attacking players are so good.
A very quiet night for Brahim Diaz on this.
And they're going to make the subs, which means they have checked and cleared that play.
Brahim Diaz taken off. The real attacking stars of this team, and the teenager Ayoub Boadi is off as well. Kassim Yassine, who was a part of that team under Mohamed Wabi that won the Under-20 World Cup in the fall. Samir El Mourabet, 20 years old as well, native of France, is on. So some very young players coming onto the field for Morocco against this experienced veteran Dutch team with 11 minutes plus stoppage time to go in the knockout round of the FIFA World Cup. And here's Yassine, one of the subs. And the other's El Mourabet on the ball now. Fizzes it into Saibari. That was tough for him to deal with. De Jong first there. Weghorst trying to steer it backwards. Big collision there. Saibari's down. Ravenberg is down as well. The referee will stop the play. The fans are going to howl, but that is a very straightforward instruction to referees, and has been for a while. If it's a head injury, you stop the play.
That's what Gakpo is showing. And this was Gakpo. Look at the acceleration here, now recognizing there's a chance.
his family as they mourned the loss.
He does so well when he thought he was foul to just hook it as he's on the way down to Gakpo, and then you see just that emotion that he is carrying in that moment.
Because you saw Wout Weghorst, and I think other people thought maybe he was hurt in the way that he reacted.
The World Cup, we have
overcome in the moment, and you can understand why. And members of his circle
reason,
here.
Yeah, you had the whole team up off the benches, every single teammate, member of the coaching staff that are doing their best to support him. and his family in that horrific moment.
But it's also a great instruction for young players as well. You do the hard running with no promise and guarantee at the end of it. You get rewarded for it. First to react to the loose ball when in that moment it would have been easy to stop and yell at the referee about a potential red card for Somerville to get knocked down. Berg is up to his feet. He'll go to the far sideline. And he is being allowed back on now. 9 minutes plus stoppage time. Here in this round of 32 clash. It's a new round that's never existed at the World Cup before. It's thrown up a wonderful meeting of teams that made deep runs in the last World Cup. Who will advance to face Canada in the round of 16? Who will be on a plane ride home a lot sooner than they, their fans, their media would have ever thought. It's a great threaded ball through. It's just too far. Yassim trying to make the run there.
He made a great run. The 20-year-old coming off his first goal for his country in that last match against Haiti. Really, he's a live wire. He comes inside. He wants to get on the left foot.
The wind is really picking up in the upper part of the bowl in the stadium. Does not appear to be windy at all down in the field because the corner flags aren't moving. They're just kind of swirling around the upper half of the stadium. There's Yassin once again. Put around one, try to spin around a second. Gakpo wouldn't let him by. El Mourabet. It was an ambitious ball to try to find Saibari. Gravenberch brings it down, rides the challenge of El Mourabet. Great vision to find Gakpo in space. Runners in front of him. Cody Gakpo. And then puts it in between the options.
Yeah, they're just trying to play the Dutch a four-man game, essentially, when they're attacking. They've got everybody else behind the ball. They're keeping six back. They've got the lead. They're not going to give up any space unnecessarily. And if they win the ball, it's into Weghorst. Then it's quick transitions and combinations. Looks like they're readying another sub as well. But they're not going to open up. They're going to do what they've been doing all game long, keeping these lines compact and tight. Morocco have really struggled in the last couple of minutes to get around the outsides of them, especially down the right through Hakimi. We haven't called his name in probably 10-15 minutes.
It was always the challenge for Morocco. Expected to reach a semifinal again. Expected to win the Africa Cup of Nations. And those expectations have been a huge weight on this team in the last 9 months. It's clipped over the top, and that's going to be nowhere near El Knaus. Are they crumbling under the weight of those expectations, or can they find a way through it once again? They changed out so many players, not even just from the last World Cup, even from the Africa Cup of Nations. They went young all over the field. They went with a lot less experience all over the field. Somerville takes that one away from Salah Ad-Din, but did so using his arm. Quentin Timber is preparing to come on for the Netherlands. Came off the bench in the opener and then suffered a concussion in practice a few days later and has not played since. A reminder, 2 days away, Wednesday night, the United States plays Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32. Coverage from Santa Clara. Starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. Live on Fox. They're going to hold the sub. In fact, Jarell Hato has come over as well, preparing to enter. The Netherlands trying to ride that Cody Gakpo goal. His third of the tournament. Crescencio Somerville, his second assist. One wouldn't fall for Saibari. He scored in all 3 games of the group stage. He had that wonderful look, remember, in the first half. It was bouncing right in front of the goal. He couldn't put anything on it. Great run forward. Denzel Dumfries accelerates away, cuts it back. No one there except for a clearance from Mazraoui.
What a run from Dumfries. How about the power? Oh, what a
great touch. Van Hecke misplayed it. Saibari running through. He's got options in the middle. Virgil van Dijk, once again, 34 years of age, 96 games for his country, says no thank you.
What a tackle from Van Dijk. Saibari had skipped past Van Hecke. He's bearing down on goal. Van Dijk makes a 30-yard sprint, doesn't let up speed, and just gets his timing to perfection there, and celebrating that like it was a goal. Even gets all his center backs around him. Just a captain's play right there from such a great player.
Quentin Timber replacing Ryan Gravenberg. And they're going to bring Mickey van de Ven off as well. For Jarell Hato, this will be his World Cup debut at the age of 20. Did not play in the group stage. Canals and Unahi are preparing to exit. For Morocco, meanwhile. Sofyan Rahimi, veteran forward. Shamseen Talbi, another very young player, 21-year-old. Have a great season, his first season in the Premier League with Sunderland. Around, and Saladin was alert to it. Hecker rising up to win the header. Timber comes away with the ball, rides the challenge, tangle of legs. It'll be a throw in for Morocco. Achraf Hakimi hit the bar at one point in this game. A couple of fine saves and a flurry before the first half hydration break by Bart Verbruggen. Collision between Dutch defenders there, but the ball falls to Frenkie de Jong. Gakpo, Weghorst splits the defenders. Wout Weghorst tackled away at the last by Saladin. Great work there by Timber to slide through and win it. Hato's first touch for Cody Gakpo, tight angle, and he's going to get a corner out of it. Dutch fans right behind that goal where they celebrated Gakpo's opener. The Town Coat Miners is preparing to take this corner, trying to urge their team forward the last few minutes. Coat Miners out swinging ball. How could the Dutch prevent any sort of counterattack? They do. That was playing very safe there just to hook it in behind for a goal kick. 2 minutes to play, plus stoppage time. Mohamed Wabi looks on. He's out of subs. He's done all he can to try to create a solution. Saibari touches it wide. Rahimi has it now. Saibari is down, holding his face. Nothing from the referee. Might not have seen it. Ismail Saibari remaining down. Achraf Hakimi saying, do you want me to continue or not? So he can get looked at.
But wasn't Sampaio saying, I didn't call a foul, and I'm not going to now because he's on the ground. So I would imagine when this replay restarts, and there was definitely a pull on Saibari from behind, and maybe a little touch of contact to his face, but Sampaio was saying no.
He's not even letting the training staff come out.
And so now it's going to be the Dutch, and because the ball was put out by Morocco, I would imagine they're going to throw it back to them. But they're not going to get the attacking opportunity and positioning that they had. Look, Weghorst is going to boot this down the other end. There you go.
1 minute plus stoppage time to play here in Monterrey. Canada awaits the winner on the 4th of July in Houston. A historic day for them. Who will be the opponent? The Netherlands have never failed to reach the round of 16 at the World Cup. Morocco only for the 3rd time in their history in the knockout stages. They had the better of the chances for 70 minutes. They were a likelier team to score for 70 minutes until Cody Gakpo, first to react to a loose ball on a great run by Crescencio Somerville, gave the Dutch the lead. What can Morocco do? Hakimi trying to fizz that in. Gakpo blocked it. They're running out of time, Morocco. Their fans are starting to run out of steam a little bit as well. Morbet rolling in the center. El Anawi nowhere to go. Mazraoui, Dutch-born Moroccan, carrying forward. Plays it out wide. Chance to cross. Numbers are in the box. In it comes up front. It's a goal! It's Issa Diop who ties the game right on the stroke of 90 minutes.
And as it looked like it just wasn't going to be their night, Issa Diop back with his first international goal, and what a time to get it. They were struggling to break him down. Sometimes you just get the ball wide and whip it in. They've got 4 players attacking 4. You've got the run to the near post that takes Van Dijk, and it just opens up enough of a path right here for Diop. But what a header that is. He's got to get his head around it and just flicks it into the top corner. And it's nothing less than they've deserved. Right in front of the Moroccan fans. They knew how close they were to slamming that door shut. 1-1, it's game on.
Issa Diop's 29. He's from France. He won an under-19 European championship with France, with Kylian Mbappe. He said at one point, I would only ever play for France, but they weren't interested in him playing for them. And so in March, he made the switch to represent Morocco, where his mom is from. And on his 7th appearance for Morocco, his first career goal, Shamsuddin Tabi, 21-year-old, who just last year switched from representing Belgium to Morocco. He provided the assist. And the Moroccans are going wild in Monterrey. We're not done. 4 minutes at a minimum still to play. They're trying to steal this now. Jassim Yassin. Cut off on the outside by Hato. Now Mourabet, El Anawi. Yassin was going too fast for his own body there. What about the Dutch the other way? Somerville trying to hand it off. Timber on the run. El Anawi running with him. Did he pull him down? He did. Free kick, Netherlands. We saw stoppage time goal in the Canada-South Africa game. We saw stoppage time goal earlier from Brazil. That was 90+1.
But look out here. This is a set piece towards the end of the game where I would imagine the Netherlands are going to stack everybody at this back post and look to drive a ball right now and try to get the first ball, and then you crash the box for the second one. But a big moment to defend. The Dutch fans can barely watch. The Moroccan fans are still celebrating. Can they find a way to win? But can they hold on here?
Towncoat Miners to take. We lost about a minute and a half of stoppage time in the goal celebrations. Will it be added on? Coat Miners looking for Van Dijk deep on the back post. He can't steer that back in the middle. And he's got to start running back. Morocco puts it back into play, but they put it back into play short. Maybe too quickly for the liking of the referee. Extra time as it stands. Goes long. Otto rising up to win the header. Veghorst steers it backwards, but only found Rahimi. Only orange in the middle of the field. Jan-Paul Van Hecke clips it long. Dumfries running on. Salah-Eddin going to chase him down in the corner. Draws contact. Draws a foul that has been flagged by the assistant. Free kick Morocco. One of the things we learned is that Monterrey is a dry city. You can't buy alcohol on a Sunday night. Clearly it doesn't apply to Monday night because the amount of alcohol that went flying airborne from all sides of us when that goal went in.
It was last chance saloon for Morocco. They get your big center back up, you whip it across, you put some pressure on that back line. And they found a way through.
Salah-Eddin, it's a good solid bump though by Timber, but he couldn't bring it inside. Talbi threw his body in. Saibari threw his body in. He cuts it in the middle. It's Rahimi. Couldn't do anything with it there. Was off balance, battling with Van Dijk. Veghorst steers it wide. Here they come again. This is how they created the first goal. Somerville running through. Diop is backing off Somerville. It was blocked to the end. Mazraoui with the tackle. 30 seconds at a minimum, might be more like 2 minutes still to play. for Ashraf Hakimi. Further along, Jassim Yassine. Into the middle, Ismail Saibari tackled away. And then an awkward challenge there by Saibari. Free kick, Netherlands.
I tell you, some of these tackles from Mazraoui, actually on both sides, if we're being fair, some of these last-ditch tackles, Van de Ven, Van Dijk, Mazraoui, timing has been just terrific. And that one there, I thought that Diop has backed off and given Somerville the chance to get the shot off. And then Mazraoui comes sliding in the box in the last minute of the game. I'm sure Moroccan fans were just couldn't believe it, but it ends up being a terrific tackle.
The referee indicating there's still 1 minute to play, added on for the celebrations of the Moroccan goal. Weghorst couldn't do anything with the long restart by Verbrugge. It's out of play. It's a Dutch throw. There's 30 seconds at a minimum still to go. Van Dijk is going to come forward here. They're going to set up a long throw. 51,000 fans on their feet in Monterrey. Final chance of regulation. Extra time unless there's a winning goal to come. Denzel Dumfries gets the throw in deep. It's headed right back out. So chance for Morocco. No, Dumfries wins the ball back, and that is how regulation ends. The Dutch led for 20 minutes. Issa Diop's first career international goal sends us to extra time, which is to come next as regulation finishes in Monterrey. The Netherlands won, Morocco won.
Wayfair's 4th of July clearance is here. Right now through July 6th, save up to 70% off everything home.
weakness coming for Ake. He's not the centre back. He's not covering Virgil van Dijk on the goal. That's the mistake for me.
Okay, 30 more minutes in the company of Stu Holden and John Strong.
Rebecca, extra time underway. We'll play 15 minutes each direction. No sudden death, no golden goal anymore. If we're still tied by any score, a penalty kick shootout will follow. Morocco had made all morning in Casablanca. It's just past 5 a.m. in Amsterdam. What are we looking for here in extra time?
Who's going to take control of this game? Now that it was after the Netherlands goal, Morocco really had to push. They'd have a lot of the ball throughout the second half. They just haven't found a way to create a goal. But I'm interested now, do the Netherlands still sit off and deep? Or do they still let Morocco dictate the pace of the play? And do they let them have the ball so much? Or do they get a little bit more aggressive now? We'll find out who wants to go for this and who wants to see this go to penalty kicks. Morocco looked hungry at the end of that full time there, trying to get that goal after they got in the first one.
The extent to which these things matter, Morocco won a penalty shootout at the last World Cup. The Netherlands have had each of their last 2 World Cups ended in penalty shootouts. And in fact, the Dutch in their history, 7 times in the knockout stage, they've gone past 90 minutes. They've been knocked out 6 of those 7 times, either in extra time or in a penalty shootout. History favors Morocco. Just the 1 yellow card in what was in the first half, an intensely physical game.
But the Netherlands seem intent on any foul or free kick in the attacking half of the field. They're setting it up for this type of play where they've been driving the ball. The last one, Koopmeiners just drove it a little bit too far for Van Dijk to attack it. Now looks like they've got Van Hecke back there, but trying to just create some chaos here on the back.
Koopmeiners again, deep to the back post. Van Dijk stabs it wide. Poe draws the double team, hooks it back, cross, it's hooked in. Late charge from Dumfries. Somerville trying to hold it in. The whistle's gone. Either a foul or a handball, one of the two there. Yeah, handball indeed from Wilton Sampaio. As we said, you have a lot of very young, inexperienced players on the field for Morocco, in sharp contrast to the experience on the field for the Netherlands.
Well, they don't seem fazed by the moment, though. And these are a lot of the players that Wabi coached to a U20 World Cup final. He's brought them along, not afraid to put them in these big moments, as Joe is ever going to clear that one. This is one of them right here. You see?
Hato himself, 20 years old, making his World Cup debut in the last few minutes. One of the things we said coming in, this was going to be a World Cup of coaching adjustments and hydration breaks, and a World Cup of depth. When you can make 5 subs anymore, when you're trying to manage minutes, these hot, muggy evenings, there's going to be players given the opportunity that might not have had the opportunity deeper down the squad in past eras. See what Ronald Koeman wants here from this throw-in that Denzel Dumfries is going to walk over to take. Instead, he just goes backwards. Miners will lift this forward. Weghorst will attack. A strong punch by Bono. He's down to the ground. That's a foul there by Frenkie de Jong, battling for the loose ball.
They came a long way for that one, Bono, and just felt that the ball hung up enough at a height that he could come out and punch it. And that's you got Weghorst attacking it. We talked about his height. He's 6'6". He's a handful on any type of crossing situation, but we really haven't seen many crosses from the Netherlands. They've looked to really play a transition type of game.
So jump on the ball, the man who sent us here with that goal just past 90 minutes. 20 minutes after Cody Gakpo had given the Netherlands the lead.
You're not seeing a team right now in Morocco that's just quite content to let this game go out. What you're seeing is both teams taking moments to keep possession, not run themselves any more than they have to if it's not there, to try to force passes when spaced. So they're just going to methodically try to work this ball up until they can create an advantage or a seam, or somebody makes a run and the timing is there. It was the same thing when the Netherlands had the ball. Morocco were backing up. Now the game's going to come alive a little bit.
I'll be driving inside. Bart picks it up, rolls it in. The chance for Morocco, and saved! Bart van Bruggen somehow kept out Sofiane Rahimi.
I was waiting for it to hit the back of the net. It was a beautiful move for Morocco. Sliced through the Dutch defense. He's 1v1. What a touch that is. Settles himself, has a look up. Oh my goodness, what a save. The focus right now, but he anticipates early. As soon as he sees Rahimi put his head down, he sees him start leaning to his right, comes off his thigh, and then the hand, and out. What a big-time save.
Fifth of the game for Bart van Bruggen. The 8th corner for Morocco. Hakimi to take. His in-swinger to the near post, dealt with by De Jong.
I'm still in disbelief that was missed. What a save. Has he won it with that save for the Netherlands? Because Rahimi there, you're betting everything on him burying that. And you see that little, he goes early. It's really great goalkeeping. You kind of have to at that point, almost anticipate to try to move to give yourself a chance. You're at such a disadvantage when the striker has the whole goal to pick from right there. 6 yards out. He laid out, went the right way, got a thigh and a hand or whatever it took to push that one behind, and he can't believe it either. His team should be up 2-1.
If you remember at the last World Cup, that was a problem area for the Netherlands. They had kind of a revolving door of goalkeepers. They struggled to find a guy that was going to be their guy. And Van Bruggen, who's just 23, was the starter at the Euros 2 summers ago. He has become the guy and has just ratified that with his performances. 7 saves against Sweden, more than any Dutch goalkeeper in a 90-minute World Cup game ever. 5 saves tonight. A couple of big ones in the first half. Good pressure by De Jong to win it back. That ball from Timber. Frenkie de Jong. Timber didn't hear the footsteps. Yassine on the far side. He gets a great screen. Sabari just blocked off Frenkie de Jong for that loose ball. Rahimi and chase. Virgil van Dijk is there to deal with it. Can Sofiane Rahimi have that short memory that players need to have? After what he thought for sure was a go-ahead goal in extra time. Scene in Monterrey. We've got about 20 minutes left. The potential of a penalty shootout to follow. We're still tied. Winner to face Canada on the 4th of July in Houston. Canadians are watching this, saying, yes, exhaust yourselves as much as possible. Keep running. Keep expending energy. Morocco just slowly squeezing it. In fact, the Mexican fans are going to help with the Olays here. Keeps looking like he wants to find something further upfield.
Well, it was like the last opportunity. They were quite patient in the movement, trying to get the right look that they want. Saibari, he found a nice spot again.
Big tackle by Van Hecke.
Yeah, Van Hecke had to come all the way over to deal with that one, but he gets that little pocket to be able to get in behind the midfield and try to get turned. That led to that last chance. So they're just waiting for that, waiting for the angles to open up, try to shift some of these defenders out of position from the Netherlands, almost just daring them. Every time you shift the ball from side to side, you don't make that run, boom, they're gonna punish you. Great patience. The Dutch have got to be thinking, where are we getting this ball back?
How often have we said that about the Dutch? Oh, might be right there. Good pressure about Weghorst, but no,
off his hand.
Handball. As he thought he was off and running the other way. Is he going to get another look? Again, he changed the game. He came on as a sub as flicked header, created the opening goal. He made his penalty attempts in the shootout loss to Argentina that knocked the Dutch out of their last World Cup. Hakimi. Yassine. Morbet. Elanawi. Malby had the assist to jump on the goal. Cross is blocked. Salah-Eddin will pick it up. Malby thought about splitting the double team, and it's knocked away by Somerville, but he's beaten to the loose ball and goes airborne there in a collision with Salah-Eddin. Under hit pass. Mazraoui was there just in time, took a kick for his trouble. That's twice that Morocco have almost given it away and led to a breakout the other way.
Yeah, but they feel they have enough back. And if it's Weghorst, the highest man, he's not going to run away from the back line. Be more concerned about Somerville or the pace, but they've got him pinned back so deep, helping out against Talbi. With both wingers now playing so high and wide. Hakimi coming inside. They're overloading the field again. They look really comfortable, just so technically gifted and calm on possession.
Minutes more to play in the first half of extra time, and we'll pause and switch ends. It's Morocco just kind of squeezing this forward, but can they find an opening? The neutral fans here in Monterrey have helped set a wonderful scene here this evening. Here comes Saibari. It's going to roll too far inside there for the run of Talbi. And then a foul committed by Elanawi. As Timber did a good job here just to get between the ball and his man.
They got a look that they would have wanted wide, where they got Saibari out, turned, little slip ball. It's just too much weight on the pass, and it skipped straight back to the Dutch. They win the ball. They win a free kick. They have no interest in trying to play out of the back right now, and they're just, look, they know they've got an asset up front. They're going to try to play a long, direct ball and hope for a second ball here.
Ruben goes long. Weghorst in a wrestling match with Mazraoui.
Mazraoui's been terrific tonight. He's been everywhere defensively for Morocco, battling with center backs, center forwards, last-ditch tackles. They've got another one to defend here, though. Dumfries is going to load up the long throw.
Dumfries gets it in. Van Dijk is in there. Headers one in front of him by El Anawi, and that ends the first half of extra time. Bart Verbruggen, the biggest moment in the first half of extra time to keep out Sofyan Rahimi. Rebecca Lowe, back to you in Los Angeles.
John and Stu, thank you so much. Let's take another look at that save, shall we? Alexi Lalas, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry watching on Morocco. Alexi, thought that they might have won it with this.
I mean, this is an incredible save. It's just getting...
Sedang kami laksanakan. Jadikanlah kerjasama yang terjalin pada hari ini sebagai langkah yang membawa manfaat, memperkuat sinergi, mempererat silaturahmi, kelembagaan, serta memberikan kontribusi nyata bagi kemajuan organisasi, bangsa, dan negara. Ya Allah yang Maha Bijaksana, bimbinglah kami agar senantiasa diberikan keikhlasan dalam bekerja, ketulusan dalam melayani, dan kebijaksanaan dalam mengambil setiap keputusan. Anugerahkanlah kepada kami kemampuan untuk menjaga amanah, memperkuat komitmen, dan melaksanakan seluruh kesepakatan yang telah dibangun dengan penuh tanggung jawab serta integritas. Ya Allah, jadikanlah pertemuan kami pada hari ini sebagai pertemuan yang Engkau ridhoi, penuh keberkahan, serta memberikan manfaat yang berkelanjutan bagi masyarakat. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Penandatanganan kerjasama ini merupakan langkah penting dalam memperkuat sinergi, membangun kolaborasi, serta mengoptimalkan potensi yang dimiliki oleh masing-masing pihak. Diharapkan dengan kerjasama ini tercipta hubungan yang saling bermanfaat sekaligus mendukung peningkatan pelayanan di lingkungan Direktorat Jenderal Pemasyarakatan. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya mari kita simak sambutan Ketua Induk Koperasi Pemasyarakatan Indonesia. Untuk memberikan sambutan kepada Bapak Junaidi, dengan hormat disilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang sama-sama kita hormati dan banggakan Bapak Direktur Jenderal Masyarakatan, para pimpinan tinggi Pratama, para direktur, kepala kantor wilayah.
After this 15 minutes and penalties, I mean, history will end up determining this. I like the guys in the studio. I've not been impressed with the way in which the Netherlands have approached that, mostly because I think they can't go toe-to-toe with Morocco. They've shown Morocco so much respect throughout this game. And you've done it through this part of the game, you're not changing it now. So they're going to set up in this exact same way. I think, though, for Morocco, they are the team that is trying to win it, and they will want to win it in extra time. If you feel that the game is there and it has been there, go and finish the job, because then you go into penalties and the team that's been playing for the penalties might just have a little bit of a psychological advantage of saying, well, now we've got you where we want you. So penalties, they can go both ways. They are a skill, there is ability, and all the rest of it. Morocco have a lot of younger players on the field. Does that become a factor as well? Some of inexperience in shootouts, especially on this stage. And then you've got a goalkeeper on the Dutch side that's come up with a big save. He's got nothing to lose. So let's see how this pans out. But this has been Morocco being the protagonist. The Netherlands trying to play for penalties. Do they get there? We're about to find out.
Second half of extra time underway. We'll play 15.